fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today to talk about 5 difficult things about diamond painting. While I'm talking, I'm going to be working on the Christmas in July kit that I'm working on. This one is called Ye Old Christmas Shop from Dreamer Designs. So let me zoom into where I'm going to be working, and I will be right back. So I've talked about different things that I like about diamond painting, things that I found annoying about diamond painting, but these are things that are not so much annoying as just things that, not all of them, but a few of them, things that I maybe feel guilty about. So I'm going to start with number 5 and work my way up to number 1. So number 5 is the one that is the least difficult, and number 1 being the most difficult, if everybody followed that. This kit is a good example for number 5. And number 5 for me is, I find it really difficult sometimes to overcome my perfectionism in wanting to place my drills. It doesn't bother me with rounds nearly as much as it does with squares. So I find myself spending a lot of time, especially when I'm working on a square kit, trying to make sure that I have my drills perfectly placed. When you're working so close and you have your nose basically in the canvas, it becomes really easy to worry about where you're placing your drills and how you're placing your drills. And the reality of that is that once you step away and you put any sort of distance between you and the canvas, a lot of those imperfections that you see and that you worry about and that you have anxiety over disappear. So that's one of the things that I find difficult. Like I said, especially with squares, I spend a lot of time trying to make sure, even if I make sure that my first drills are fairly straight, somehow it seems easy to get off on all the other ones. But then once I'm done placing and I step back, even like in this section, these are supposed to be straight lines, so I really worry about, oh no, is that going to look straight? But when you step away from it and take it in as a whole, it looks completely different. So like this bow here just looks like a lot of confetti. There's some yellow, some white, some peach of the bear there, and some ABs thrown in, and it doesn't really look like a whole lot, but when you step back, your eye fills in all those details, your brain fills in all those details, and so you really don't need to worry about placing everything perfectly as much as we do. So I try to remind myself whenever I'm working on something, especially on a square kit, that it doesn't have to be perfect. As long as I'm getting somewhere close to where they're supposed to be, then when I get finished, it's all going to look good. So that was number 5. Number 4 of difficult things about diamond painting, and this one again is not really a complaint, but there are just so many kits to choose from. It seems like every time I turn around, there's a million things that I want to buy. I have plenty of diamond paintings. I probably have enough at this point to diamond paint for several years, at least, and I still am finding things that I want to buy. So curbing that impulse when there's always something new coming out is hard to do, especially when you're getting multiple emails a week or multiple notifications, whether it's text or on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, whatever social media it happens to be, that this new thing came out and that new thing came out, or this new accessory came out, or this new whatever thing came out. So that's in addition to having all of the amazing kits to choose from, is having all of the accessories and everything. So just the overwhelming amount of choice. And I think sometimes too that I end up not buying anything because I get overwhelmed by the amount of choices. There's so many cool things out there. How do you determine which one is the one that you want to get? So it can be really difficult sometimes to figure out which kit it is you want to buy or that you want to spend your money on, especially if you're on a budget, trying to figure out those constraints. Which leads me directly into number 3. One of the most difficult things about this hobby is it's expensive. It doesn't have to be. You can buy budget kits. You can buy stuff on Amazon. You can use the tools that come with the kits and do it fairly inexpensively. But for a lot of us, myself included. It's not just that I want the kits. I want the nice pens. I want the nice tips because the pink pens that come with the kits just don't last long enough for me. So I prefer to have my steel tips. The pink pens are too small for my hand and they make my hand fatigue really easily. So I prefer to have pens that are bigger or chunkier or whatever. I like to have more than just random storage. You can get bottles pretty inexpensively, but I like my Elizabeth Ward, even though they were a little on the pricier side. And it extends to so many other things. I mean, for me personally, there for a while, I was making my own stickers. I still do sometimes, but not as often. I don't need to do it as often anymore because a lot of the kits I purchase come with stickers. But making your own stickers, that meant that I bought a cutting machine. We use it for other things as well, so the expense wasn't just for diamond painting, but it does get used for that. So you end up buying all of these accessories and storage and other things that don't necessarily have to do with the kit or the placing of the drills itself, but it can become very expensive. And of course, a lot of the kits are not inexpensive either. I mean, I've spent upwards of, I think the most expensive kit I bought was like $130. And you can spend more than that. Like I know the masterclass ones from Diamond Dots cost more than that. The larger the kit, the more expensive it is. So it can get quite expensive if you're not prepared. And especially for people who are on a budget, that's what makes number 4 hard, looking at all of those kits and thinking, okay, I've got to limit myself because I can only afford so much. Or just deciding, okay, I'm not going to buy anything for a while until I have some of the kits in my stash worked down because I already own too many things. And I think that's a place that many of us have found ourselves in over the years. And the expense of it leads me into the difficult thing number 2, and that is the FOMO, the fear of missing out, and the scarcity marketing that so many companies seem to employ these days. And it's not just diamond painting companies, it's other companies as well. Here's this, whatever it is, this car, this kit, this piece of clothing, this handbag, this shoe, whatever it is. It's only going to be available for so long before it's sold out. So you got to get it now. Oh, you don't have the money to buy it right now. That's okay. Pay in installments, blah, blah, blah. And I think a lot of people fall afoul of that, especially in the beginning of their diamond painting journey. I know I did. That's how I ended up with like 100+ diamond paintings that would take me 5+ years to complete. And that's if I did nothing but diamond paint all day, every day for those 5 years, which wasn't going to happen. So I don't like that as a tactic, which is one of the reasons that I have stopped paying a lot of attention to the weekly emails and things like that, because I don't like that kind of marketing. I mean, I get that marketing is kind of a psychological game to begin with, but I don't like a lot of the games that they play, and that's one of them. And then last but not least is the number one thing that I find difficult about diamond painting, and that is all of the plastic waste. They come shrink wrapped in plastic. Usually the kit inside is in a plastic sleeve. Then the drills come in a plastic sleeve. Then the drills are in individual plastic bags. Then the drills themselves are plastic. And once you start putting drills on a kit, you have leftovers, you have trash, and all of that has to go somewhere. What do you do with kits when you've completed them? Do you hang them up somewhere? Do you put them in a landfill? Do you gift them to someone? Do you donate them? It just becomes this game of, I have all of this plastic. Yes, I can recycle some of it, but not the drills. And the drills end up being the biggest piece of waste that you have left over. Yes, I can recycle the plastic bag, the sleeve that it came in, the plastic that it was shrink wrapped with. All of those I can recycle. But the drills themselves, what do I do with those? Hasn't stopped me from diamond painting, but it is definitely something that I find difficult when trying to justify the diamond painting to myself, because I do try to be mindful of my plastic consumption and recycle where I can and all of that. So if any of the companies are listening, it would be awesome if there was some kind of way to recycle drills. No idea what that would look like or how it would even work, but that's why I don't get the big bucks. Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Do you agree with the 5 things that I find difficult about diamond painting? Is there something you find difficult that I didn't mention? Leave me a comment and let me know that as well. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.